the cross is different. Life before and after the cross is different. And most believers are living 2,000 years ago. They are living as if the cross has not happened. Do you think God came here for nothing? He didn't. Life in the Old Testament was different from the life now we have after Jesus had died. Jesus would not have come, but he came so as to make that difference. In the Old Testament, they used the blood of animals. In the New Testament, we use the blood of God, the blood of Jesus. In the Old Testament, the blood of animals would cover for 1 year. In the New Testament, the blood of Jesus is permanent, eternal, and takes away all sins. No record of sins through the blood. In the Old Testament, they were servants. They were not sons of God. They were not born again. They were sinners. But in the New Testament, we are born of God, born by the Spirit, born by his resurrection. Life after and before are different. And in the Old Testament, the law of Moses was put there so as to control people who rejected the gospel. But in the New Testament, life is free. Everything from God is free. It's now grace. In the Old Testament, they used elements throughout. Why? Because they could not understand the spirituals unless you use elements. Now, in the New, there are no elements that we use because we use the word. The word is spirit. John 6:63, the words that I speak to you are spirit. In the Old Testament, there were dramas there. There were shadows there. But in the New Testament, we have the actual man Jesus, spirit, soul, and body inside us. In the Old Testament, the gospel was to come. And now in the New Testament, the gospel came. Jesus is offering life, and he wants to enter into humans. In the Old Testament, they were worshiping in temples, in synagogues. But in the New Testament, God no longer stays in the temples or in the synagogues, but he stays in a human being. We are the temples of God, or the temple of God. In the Old Testament, Christ was concealed, secret, mystery. And in the New Testament, Christ now revealed substance, and we have him. How can I take stones and yet I have him inside me? God bless.